Greetings and salutations, everybody, and welcome back to the Glitched Out Gaming Podcast. Yes, we missed another week, but we promise we're not going bi-weekly with this podcast. Life has just happened. That's all. Tends to get in the way of everything, all the good stuff in life, the video games, the movies. Life tends to happen. But anyways, we are back this week, and we got a big old show to go over, 4 great news stories, and a big topic of the week that my co-host is itching to talk about, I'm sure. And speaking of my co-host, it's the one, the only, Israel Pacheco.
What is up, man? It's been a while. It's been like
long.
2-3 weeks, something like that.
2 weeks, yeah.
I think we missed more than 1 week, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Scheduling and just being tired from work and stuff. But yeah, it's good to be back. There's a lot of stuff to talk about.
Mm-hmm. And we're going to kick this show off as we kick off every show with what we've been playing. And Izzy, what have you been playing, man?
So last we spoke, I was playing Halo 3 on the Master Chief Collection.
Did you finish the fight?
And I finished the fight. So I hadn't played that game in like several years, and it still holds up. I really like it. It's definitely one of my favorite Xbox 360 games. But since I already spoke about that, let's get into something new, and that is a Rock Band 4 on the Xbox One. I've just been in the mood to play a music rhythm game, basically because my little brother's obsessed with them. He plays them like on a daily basis. Rock Band 3, Beatles Rock Band, a new Guitar Hero Live, all that. So I saw Amazon had the version that brought the disc and the dongle to use the older instruments for like super cheap. It was like $40.
Oh, wow.
I think the normal price is like $80. So I was like, hey, what the hell? So I bought it. We've been using his old instruments. Unfortunately, you can't use the wired drums from the 360. You have to have a wireless drum kit, which kind of sucks. But all the other guitars work. The microphones work. So we've been using that. I spent, oh my God, I think I spent like $100 on DLC so far. Because I paid for the Rock Band 3 export. So I got all the songs from Rock Band 3, or the majority of them that they were able to license. I paid like $15 for that. Then I bought like the Legend Bob Marley album, which was like $20. Then I bought a bunch of the Queen songs and packs, and like I just went crazy with all the stuff. And I re-downloaded all my old stuff too, which was really cool because back in the day I had transferred Rock Band 1 into Rock Band 2, so I was able to re-download all the songs from the original Rock Band that were available, because I think some they had licensing issues or whatever. Unfortunately, I can't do 2 because the export ran out sometime last year, because it's all licensing based since this is a music rhythm game, right? So that kind of stinks. I wish sometime in the future they would figure out a way to have the Rock Band 2 songs be exported or offer them as DLC. Some of them are available as DLC, but a majority of them aren't. And I'm having a blast playing through it. I haven't started like any of the career modes or anything. I've just been playing like all the different set lists from the games, Rock Band 3, Rock Band 4, all the DLC. Just having a blast playing for like hours at a time. So it definitely has like re-energized me into like the music rhythm genre. It's more Rock Band though. Like, to be honest, it just looks nicer. Not anything drastically new when you compare it to like Guitar Hero Live, which they took like a completely different direction. This was just more of the same, but good on them that they supported their old stuff, especially now that everything's like working out. I remember when it first was released, they had a bunch of issues in terms of you downloading your old DLC and stuff not showing up and all that, so that's kind of been worked through. Unfortunately, I've had like a few glitches where like the game just pauses on me or freezes or whatever, or like there's some like a massive slowdown, but yeah. I don't know. I had seen reviews, but I don't remember seeing that in there. Maybe it's just my Xbox One. Like, my Xbox One is like really glitchy for some reason lately. I don't know if like the latest firmware or whatever the hell, but I'm having a blast with that. I might start a career mode if I could get some drums that work, or I don't know. I'll figure it out. Maybe just keep playing it how I'm playing it and just downloading more DLC.
Cool. As for myself, I've played a bit more of Dead or Alive 5 Last Round. It's just an easy game to dive back into, do a round of arcade or whatnot. I also picked up a few more trophies in that as well. Probably won't go for the platinum because there's online stuff you have to do.
Yeah,
you don't have to win matches. You just gotta play.
Really?
Yeah, you just gotta play like 200 online matches, win or lose. You still get the trophy. So
that's still a lot of matches.
Yeah, it's a lot of matches, and I don't feel like getting my ass kicked 200 times online. There's also some other stuff like with the challenge mode where you have to complete all challenges with like a character. That's kind of brutal to do with some of those. But other than that, I have been playing some new stuff as well. Brand new game to the PlayStation 4. Extremely beautiful graphics. Mind-blowing visual design and level design. Of course, I'm referring to Miss Pac-Man. Been playing that because it.
Well, that was a swerve. I wasn't expecting that one.
Yeah, the arcade classics. They put out Miss Pac-Man, Pac-Man, Dig Dug, and Galaga last Wednesday, and I picked up Miss Pac-Man. It's the only separate one. You can buy the other three in the 3-pack, which I didn't do right away. I'll probably pick them up later. It's cool. They all have platinum trophies, which is pretty awesome. It was kind of odd, in a sense, playing Miss Pac-Man and getting trophies for it. Just weird in a way, but fuck, I love it. I could sit back and play Miss Pac-Man for hours. That game holds up so damn well. So yeah, I've been playing Miss Pac-Man. I might have something else to talk about as well after you.
Yeah, I might pick up Galaga. Like, I really like Galaga and Galaction. Like, those are two, like, my favorite, I should say my mom's favorite arcade games. So I played them a lot when I was little, whenever they had those, like, compilations, like, on PS1 and PS2. Like, she would always play those. So I really enjoy them, too. But the next game that I got here is a new release for the month. And that is Ratchet and Clank on the PS4. And I have to say, man, just go buy this game. Like, honestly, just go buy it. It was released at a budget price. It was released at $39.99. It's a remake of the original Ratchet and Clank, but it's more than a remake because the visuals are, like modern visuals, and the story elements have been tweaked to coincide with the film that's coming out in a few days. And the gameplay's so good. The game's gorgeous. The writing is hilarious. It even makes fun of being a movie tie-in game for a movie based on a game. Like, there's all these little inside jokes, and
nice.
It's just really well written. It's just so polished, like, all around. I found it kind of challenging too, to be honest, for like a platformer that's like aimed at kids. Like, there was a couple times that I got shot down by the enemies, but you figure out the movements and stuff. And it's a shame because back in the day I missed out like on that whole PS2 generation of platformers like Sly Cooper, Jak and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank. For whatever reason, like, I played a little bit of Jak 2, but that's about it. The other ones I didn't really play until more recently. And I played Ratchet and Clank when he moved over to the PS3 with the Ratchet and Clank Future games, which were really good. But it's just quality all around the board. It's so pretty to look at, so great to play. Like, it's great to see Insomniac doing something again like this. Even though I really enjoyed Sunset Overdrive, but not a lot of people played it. Hopefully this has a much wider audience, since it already has a built-in fan base of the Ratchet and Clank players from like 15 years. And then the new audience is going to bring in because of the movie. I'm hoping the movie does well. Just go buy it. Like, honestly, it's only $40 and you get, I've heard it's around, a good like 10 to 12 hours. I'm I'd say probably a couple hours into it, a few missions into it, but yeah, it's great. The gunplay, the upgrade system, like just everything about it is quality. This is like one of the first games of the year that I'm like, okay, this is like hitting on all cylinders. Like this is exactly what I wanted.
Awesome, that's awesome to hear. Everything I've heard about that game is just, it's good. Go buy it. It's the best game I've played all year.
I don't think it has any, like, as you saw, I didn't have any complaints about it. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. Like, it's just polished quality gaming. Like, if you got a PS4, just go buy it. Even if, like, you didn't get into the Ratchet games back in the day, if you want to try out 3D platformers or just give it a shot. Like, this is definitely one of the PlayStation 4's best exclusives.
Yeah, I am so happy to hear that, and I will probably be picking it up, hopefully in the near future. I really want to play that game so badly, but damn flash sales and other things happening.
I'm avoiding that sale, man. I saw it when you tweeted at me. I was like, no, there's some good stuff on sale. And it's funny, I just bought a game that I'm going to talk about like for full price. And they put it on sale on this flash sale. I was like, really? Really? But anyway, we'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah. I'll go with a big new release myself. Came out, I believe, the same day as Ratchet and Clank, and that's Dark Souls 3. Picked that up, and as I expected, I am getting my ass kicked repeatedly over and over and over again. I haven't had a chance to really sit down and just play it, like hardcore play it. As this podcast goes up on Monday, I've had Sunday and Monday off, so hopefully I'm going to really sink my teeth into the game over the next couple days. You might see some footage playing in the background of this podcast right now. So yeah, I'm really hoping to get some more play into. But from what I have played, the combat feels so good. It's a little bit faster, not as fast as Bloodborne, but I'm finding it better than Dark Souls 2 was. It's like gorgeous level design and graphics are just so nice. There's been a few moments where I've stopped and just had to admire the environment itself because it's just so well detailed. Yeah, it's vicious. It's not holding back right away. It's pretty hard, and it's a tiny bit more linear than Dark Souls 2 was, but that's a good thing. You have a clear direction to go. Dark Souls 2, I was easily lost at the beginning of that game so badly. It's like, do I go down this way? No, these enemies are hurt. Maybe I'll go the other way. Oh, these are just as bad, if not worse. So that had the issue in Dark Souls 2, but I'm not really having that right now. Personally, I think I just have to train up and level up a little bit in my current situation before I move onwards. But yeah, I'm digging it so far, and if you're a fan of Dark Souls, you're going to love this game too. So if you haven't picked it up already, stop wasting your time and go buy it, because you're going to love it.
Yep. I already got my fill with Bloodborne. So. And I keep thinking about Bloodborne, to be honest, and I want to go back to it. So it stayed in my mind ever since I played it. But the next thing I got here is a old release that was re-released on PS4, and that is Borderlands, the pre-sequel on the Handsome Collection, which I bought, and that's a game that I was alluding to that went on sale on the flash sale. But a buddy of mine, he's house sitting right now, so usually where he's at, he has very spotty internet, but where he's at right now, house sitting, he has really good internet, so he wanted us to play something in co-op. We hadn't played anything in co-op in years, since like Xbox 360. He said, why not? Let's play through it. And we've just been cracking jokes for hours and just goofing around and shooting enemies. I honestly do not know what the hell is going on in the story, because I've not been paying attention. We've just been shooting stuff. We've been just mindlessly, And every like 10 minutes I ask my buddy, I'm like, so what's going on? And like, this is just a game to like turn on and just tune out, shoot stuff, talk about our day or just crack jokes and reminisce about stupid stuff in like our teenage years. But yeah, it's a good game. Like, it's a solid shooter. I've never really like gotten into Borderlands. Like, I appreciate like the shooting mechanics and all that, and then like the comedy and the humor, but it's just never really clicked with me. This one neither. I'm just honestly playing it because I want something to like play with him and like just chat and stuff. So I don't know what the hell's going on. I know there was something about a moon and handsome Jack's around, and I don't know what's going on. But
yeah, you kind of need to play Borderlands 2 before you play the pre-sequel, oddly enough.
Yeah, I played a little bit of Borderlands 2 like several times, but it's never really clicked. But yeah, do you have any other games on your list?
I've got 2, and I can go over those pretty quickly.
Okay, I'll head over to you before I talk about the elephant in the room.
Yeah, the 2 that I've left are Enter the Gungeon. I picked that up.
Oh, how is that?
It's fun. It's pretty good if you like stuff like The Binding of Isaac or Rogue Legacy. It's that roguelike where you enter a dungeon, go as far as you can before you die, restart over, that kind of deal.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's fun. The shooting mechanics are cool. You can dodge out of the way of bullets. The base enemy in the game are bullets shooting you with guns. And they're like little happy little bullets trying to kill you.
What the hell?
And there's like little grenade enemies that'll run up to you and like suicide bomb. Yeah, it's just over the top, like cute but deadly type deal. So yeah, I'm enjoying that. Again, footage may be put onto this podcast if I get around to recording some of it. And the last thing that I've been playing a little bit last night after I picked it up off the flash sale, and that's Rollers of the Realm. When this podcast goes up.
What in the hell is that? I haven't heard of that.
It's going to get good here. This was on sale on the flash sale for $1.99. So you still have a chance to buy it, Izzy. Not so much for the people listening to this podcast, anyway. It is it's a RPG, classic Dungeons and Dragons type deal. You start off with a rogue character, and you meet a knight, and a healer, a hunter. You can also get other characters like an alchemist. Those are the 5 that I have with me right now. You're going through these levels, you're fighting enemies, but here's the catch. Every level is basically a pinball table. This is a pinball RPG. Where it's telling a story, and you're like using the flippers, tossing the characters around, like enemies are on screen, you hit them. Each of the different characters have different abilities, like the knight is a bigger ball, but he can like bust through barricades and whatnot. The rogue is smaller, so she can't like break anything, but she can go in through smaller spaces and whatnot. The healer can collect mana faster, which you can use your special skills or reviving characters. It's a really neat concept. If you buy the PS4 version, you get it on the Vita. I have not tried the Vita version yet. I want to, but I have to say it's pretty damn neat, and I'm enjoying it. I love pinball games, and I think this is a really neat spin onto it. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's from Atlas, but I cannot remember that for certain. But yeah, for $2, I'm very happy with my purchase, and it's quite the unique game, like something I've never seen before.
Sounds pretty good.
Alright, so what about that elephant in the room?
Yeah, so let's man, there's so much controversy surrounding this game.
So many people hating it. I've seen good reviews. I mean, the Easy Allies gave it a 4 out of 5. stars.
Yeah, Go Nintendo like did a great review. RMC over there, like his review was spot on in my opinion. Like talking about it, but there's been so much trash.
Like the dude over at Polygon who never even finished the game.
Arthur, really? And then he does this he cuts a scathing promo on Starfox Zero. I was like, is this guy in the wrestling business? Like, is he a heel? Like, what is going on? But yeah, basically he was supposed to review it. He gave up on the game because he said the controls. So yeah, that is, as you can guess, Starfox Zero, the new release for this week, exclusive to the Wii U, co-developed between Platinum Games and Nintendo, and I love it. Simple as that. Simple as that. I love it. Yes, the controls, there is a learning curve, and I do suggest, if you haven't played this game yet, before you start playing it, there's a short tutorial section, then you go into the main menu. About 3 notches down, there is an extra tutorial section where it shows you how to control the different vehicles, between the Landstalker, the little the gyro wing, and then the R wing that transforms, which looks like a chicken. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But it shows you how to individually control those. So I played those going into it before going into the final game, and I have to say, I love this game. Sure, it has clunky controls, but when it all clicks and it all works together, like, you're just like, wow, this is awesome. Like the way the gamepad is used. Once you learn how to actually do it, that's why on Twitter I was making the comparison to the Souls games, that the Souls games get, great reviews, and then Star Fox gets panned, but there's like a learning curve involved with them. Like they're not for everybody. Like not everybody's gonna get it, and I just love this game. Like just playing the first like mission where you're going into Corneria, like I got chills. Like, and it's just, I guess because it's the nostalgia for me. Like it sounds so cheesy, but just like swooping in from like outer space into orbit, and then into the planet of Corneria, and going like, speeding through. Like Star Fox 64 was my first N64 game. And that game had the rumble, so it's tied to that nostalgia, those special memories for me. And this game uses rumble great. Like it feels great, the feedback that you get on the gamepad, and just the 3D audio that they use, where your team talks to you through the gamepad, and it works really well. Like, none of the stuff that I'm saying I thought I was going to like going into Star Fox, because I was, hearing all these things about the game, the controls, motion controls, them talking through the gamepad, all this stuff. Like, I thought I was going to hate it, and I loved it. Like, I loved the 3D audio of them talking to you, and how it comes through the gamepad, and just how the gamepad feels and how it works, and how you... sure, you have to recalibrate it a lot, but there's a button that you just press and boom, you're right in the center. So it reminds me of the Nintendo Land game that they had for Metroid, where you're piloting a ship, like one player's on the ground, as like in the Samus outfit, and the other one's piloting her ship. So it's like that, but more advanced. And like there was another part where I was doing like a dog fight in the middle of space, and I was just like, it just clicked with me, and I was like, this is awesome. Like, this feels like Star Wars. And sure, Star Fox does take some elements from Star Wars, some of the sound effects and the vehicle designs and all that, and it just felt fantastic. Like, it really clicked for me. Like, sure, I was talking about Ratchet and Clank, super polished, hitting on all cylinders, but I started it and I haven't gone back to it. This, I started yesterday and almost finished it. Sure, it's a short game, but I put like over 4 hours into it. I'm on the last level, Venom, the last and final boss, which I heard could be a pain in the ass, which kind of was. I played it for a little and I was getting wrecked, so I'm like, let me go to sleep. I'll finish it up tomorrow. And then just like, the music is fantastic. The voice acting is cheesy and over the top, exactly what you expect. The visuals, they could look great sometimes, and then other times they look, very low low detail. Like if you zoom into stuff and are very close, it doesn't look very impressive. The frame rate takes a hit every now and then, but that didn't really bother me. I'm just having so much fun with this game, and like the unique control scheme and how engaged you feel while you're playing this game. Like this isn't a game that you're just like laying back and playing. Like, no, you got to be actively moving around your controller, recalibrating stuff, shooting enemies, then tagging, like whatever enemy you're looking at and going around, looking up at your TV screen, looking down. And this sounds all crazy, like it would annoy the crap out of me, but it doesn't. I think it's awesome. And there was this other boss battle that I did that was like really cool in the desert that just really clicked for me, and like it just made me remember this is a game by Platinum, and they always do like very cool boss battles. And yeah, it works for me, but I could see it's not going to be for everybody. I think it's going to be a while before we see another Starfox game, because of the critical reception of this. Could hurt the sales. It could not. I don't know how it's doing commercially. I hope it does, decent. At least we sell 1 million copies, worldwide. But that's like best.
One for every Wii U owner.
There's, over 10 million Wii U owners out there, so at least sell more than Bayonetta 2, because that's sold. And that's like, that reviewed super well, and it didn't sell. But
Starfox is a recognizable name, though.
Yeah, true. And it's like an IP that Nintendo's had around for a long time. But I personally love it. It's up there as one of my favorite games of the year so far. It's up there with Far Cry Primal. Like, Far Cry Primal, I've talked about it here a bunch of times. I was obsessed with that game, put like over 20 hours. Starfox is probably, if not right there with it, like right behind it. I still haven't finished it. There's still that last boss battle. Things could change. My perception of the game could change by next week. Ratchet and Clank, I could see being somewhere around that, top 3 of the year so far for me. But in terms of a year that's been so disappointing, especially with the last episode we did, like all the games that I was excited for, like Unravel and Pokken, like they didn't really deliver for me. And the game that I was worried the most about, right, and I thought I was gonna hate, I freaking love it. So yeah, it just clicked with me. It just works. I love how different it is. There's nothing else on the market like it. Like this really is a reason to own a Wii U. Like for Star Fox Zero, like I did compare it to the Nintendo Land game, the Metroid game, but this is more fleshed out. And yeah, just give it a chance. Maybe don't buy it now since it's a short game, but everybody knows Star Fox games aren't the longest games. They're rail shooters, but at least this has some variety. Like you have the rail shooting segments, then you have like the all range mode sections with like the boss battles, and you have the stuff with the gyro wing that's more slower pace, and it changes up the flow of the game, and I really like that. Like there's different combinations of stuff. It's a more complex Star Fox than we've ever had before, and I love it. Like I'm sorry, like there's people who hate it, but I love it. There's some games like that get panned and I end up really liking. So give it a shot, maybe rent it, maybe wait for a price drop, whatever you want to do. If you're interested, give it a shot. Just like I said, number 1 tip, do the tutorials, because those are definitely going to help you out learning the mechanics of the game. And as you play through the game, you're going to start learning new tricks and new strategies on how to take down bosses and stuff. So I really like it. It is clunky, but when it works, it's amazing.
Nice. Very, very nice. Now, if only all the other reviewers were like you, I would have scored a very high section on our fantasy draft.
Yeah. Unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
Me a better score than Rhyme.
Oh, yeah. We'll see what else gets delayed. We'll be talking about something pretty soon here, but give Star Fox Zero a chance. Like, just give it a chance. Like, wait for a price drop or whatever. I haven't played Star Fox Guard because I went with the digital version, and that doesn't bring Star Fox Guard, but it is $10 cheaper. So, and I wasn't interested in Star Fox Guard, to be honest. I'm not into tower defense games, so But yeah, I really like Starfox. It's one of my favorite games thus far. Like, it's one of the most memorable experiences I've had, this year.
Neat. I think we have our episode title as well. Give Starfox a chance. And with that, it's time to dive into the news. And we've got 2 stories from the previous week and 2 stories from this past week to go over. And Izzy, why don't you tell us about this first story, because this could be big.
So yeah, it looks like a map for Red Dead Redemption 2, which would technically be Red Dead 3, has leaked, and it seems like this game is going to be some sort of prequel to the original Red Dead Redemption. So I'm not sure if you're going to be playing as John Marston, or if you're going to be playing some of the other characters that were in the original game. But I could definitely see them doing a prequel, because they can't do a sequel with him. But
an interesting sequel.
Yeah.
Weekend at John Marston's.
But to be honest, I'd really like to see how this game would look on next gen. Like, that's my main thing on next gen and PC. Like, how ridiculous this world is going to look. I believe it. I think this is legit. Like, it doesn't surprise me, because they've been hinting at Red Dead for some time now, probably for like the last year.
Yeah.
So yeah, I still need to play the original. I'm still waiting on that backwards compatibility on Xbox One, which I'm sure will be a thing. It'll probably be a promotional tie-in with the new one.
Yeah. And who knows? We've gotten a ton of Rockstar games released on PS4 via the PS2 games. We might see Red Dead Revolver pop up at some point now. Yeah,
that's a good point. But yeah, Red Dead, very highly regarded for a lot of people. A lot of people say it's one of the best games of last generation. Looking forward to this. I want to check it out.
Yeah, same here. Looks cool, and hopefully it's true. Though there is a lot more water added, so going by IGN reviews, especially of
7 out of 10.
Pokemon Ruby, too much water. 7 out of 10. All right, moving on to our next news story, which is, this is something we might have covered back in the old Static Screen podcast when that was going normally, but it seems appropriate to put it on here now. And that is, Pokemon live-action movie, maybe in the works. So if you wanted to be the very best, like no one ever was, a few companies apparently are fighting for the rights to do so. So, as the IGN article by Alex Osborne goes, the Pokemon Company is reportedly looking to get a live-action film made based on its popular creature-collecting franchise. According to the Hollywood Reporter, a top-secret auction, well, I guess Team Rocket's involved, for the film rights to Pokemon is currently underway and nearing completion, with Legendary Entertainment pushing hard to secure the franchise. I guess if they got it, we could get a Godzilla Pokemon crossover movie? Who knows? Everything needs to be a shared universe after all. Sources claim Warner Brothers is very interested as well and has pushed the property aggressively. Sony is reportedly also in the running.
That would be hilarious.
Well, 2 of these would be hilarious. I mean, if Sony got the rights to it, that would be funny just in terms of video gaming. And if Legendary got it, they're owned by a Chinese company, so that would be interesting to see how that would be received by the Japanese market. A Chinese company doing a Japanese franchise movie. But yeah, the Pokemon Company has allegedly been courting Hollywood to launch a big budget live action movie, with Warner Bros. Being an early favorite, which makes sense given the 2 previously worked together to release several animated Pokemon films. However, sources say it looks like Legendary will come out of the auction on top. So, yeah, this would be quite interesting if this happened. I'd like to see a live-action Pokemon movie. I think it'd be pretty cool.
I'd like to see it, too. I'm interested to see how this turns out, especially with Ratchet and Clank coming out. The big money Warcraft film, which is coming out this summer, which I think is going to flop.
And don't forget Assassin's Creed this fall.
Yep, in December. So maybe that affects how this turns out, but Pokemon is still a huge franchise. I'd be interested to see what they take as an inspiration. Are they going to go, with the anime and tell us the story of Ash, or do something completely different?
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see Pokemon in live action. They need very good special effects, though. Like they need,
Get
somebody
the
like
crew of the Jungle Book onto this.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but I heard like the effects are amazing. But I'd be interested to see it, just like out of curiosity, to be honest, more than like it being good film. Just out of like just being selfish, I'd like to see it just to see it. To be honest, just to see how it turns out. But yeah, we'll see what comes of this. This is going to be a big year determining the future of all these video game adaptations, which seems like it's the next thing Hollywood's really going to push once they milk the crap out of comics, which they already are. But at least we're getting good films, not Batman v Superman. But speaking of Batman, segue.
Nice segue. Batway.
Batway. It seems like we're getting a HD or upgraded return to the Arkham franchise, particularly Arkham Asylum and Arkham City on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. It's probably just going to be the PC versions, to be honest, that run at 1080p, 60 frames a second, which has been the case.
Please, not the PC version of Knight, though. We don't want that on systems.
Not the PC version of Arkham Knight. But yeah, this is not going to include Batman Arkham Origins, which wasn't done by Rocksteady, which I'm completely fine with. Because I tried to play that game like 3 or 4 times and I couldn't get through it. But yeah, Arkham Asylum, fantastic. One of the best games of last generation. Same thing with Arkham City. It seems like it's coming out rather soon, maybe sometime in the summer. It says April 19th from a leaked Peggy listing, but I don't think it's gonna come out because we're already past April 19th.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was 4 days ago as of this recording.
Doesn't make any sense now that I think of it. I was thinking it would have said like May 19th, June 19th, but yeah, at least it seems like it's gonna be coming out. I'd guess somewhere around the summer, June, July, August, during like when the gaming drought. It'll make sense to drop this, but yeah, I'll probably pick it up and replay through the games, but
yeah, same here. I would love to go back and play through Arkham Asylum again.
Especially with the upgraded visuals, so.
And more trophies. I almost had all the trophies in Arkham Asylum. Just the goddamn combat rooms that fucked me over.
Yeah, I think I needed the combat rooms and the just playing it through hard or something like that, because I was just looking through my Xbox 360 achievements the other day, and I had like 750 or 800 gamer score or something like that on Arkham Asylum, so...
Cool. Final news story for this week is a Persona 5 countdown hints at an upcoming announcement. That's right. Could we be seeing a release date in less than 2 weeks? A countdown on the game's official Japanese site is ticking away towards May 5th. May 5th. 0505. So, haha, Persona 5. Get it? And is currently set to end at 5:30 a.m. Pacific Time, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, or 12:30 p.m. GMT that day. The countdown could mean that we'll learn Persona 5's release date following a delay to summer 2016 during last year's TGS. For now, Atlus hasn't announced any additional details about the countdown, so we'll just have to wait to make sure. And all I have to say is, yes, please be a release date, and please do not be June 28th.
I'm calling a delay right now. It's gonna be a release date that is delayed. But that's what I think. I don't know what happened to this game. They went like really,
Imagine
really
if May 5th
quiet.
rolls around, the countdown drops, and they're like, it's out now.
That would be pretty sick. I'd love to see that, but I don't know how the retailers would feel about that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to see whenever this game finally shows up. But until then, Final Fantasy 15 is around the corner in September, so I don't know if this is going to come out before that or around the same time, which would kind of suck. But yeah, we'll see.
We shall indeed. So with that, it's time to move into our topic of the week.
Primo!
Jesus Christ. Yeah, topic of the week. So, a few sites around the old interwebs have been talking about this tiny topic. So we've decided to toss it into our own show. I've only got very brief things to say about this. But I know you've kind of been itching at the opportunity to talk about it. We've talked about it in passing, I believe, over Skype.
Yeah.
And so yeah, let's just dive into it. Over this past week, leaks and rumors have come out that the PlayStation 4.5, the PlayStation 4K, is real. It is 100% real, apparently, and it's codenamed Neo. Because PlayStation apparently right now loves their Matrix references. Neo with this, Project Morpheus for the VR. Next thing you know, they'll be selling us a blue and red pill and telling us to choose wisely.
Yeah.
Now, my initial thoughts on this are very simple. I'm fine with it. Like, okay, sure. It's going to be upgraded system. It's going to run games better, apparently. Apparently, there's going to be two sets of two modes put into every game, where one will run on the Neo mode, one will run on base mode as it is right now, and it'll probably be far off into the future before we see stuff that's going to require a PlayStation Neo in order to run it. So, personally, I'm not too biffed about this, especially over the fact that it's coming up now on like 3 years since the PlayStation 4 came out. And I was a day one buyer, so it's not like I'm thinking, oh, I just bought this system and now it's old and not new anymore. Like I'm not thinking that way. So personally, for me, if this is real, cool, neat. But Sony's going to have to market this very, very wisely. They've got a lot of good faith right now, but something like this could, be pulling a Microsoft, for lack of a better term. So what are your thoughts on this, Izzy?
I'm just confused as to why. Like, that's my biggest question right now. Like, they have so much momentum for no damn reason, to be honest. Like, sure, there's a reason. Let's talk about, the whole, marketing of the PlayStation 4, the whole, we're for the players, the whole E3 press conferences, all that. But what I mean in terms of no reason is the games that we, the hardcore PlayStation audience, care about. It probably wasn't until last year sometime that we started getting like really excellent, must-have games for the PlayStation 4. Like, all the stuff early on was very mediocre. Just being brutally honest, we had Killzone, we had Knack, we had Infamous, we had, the Drive Club mess. Bloodborne, even though I have my issues with those games, I could realize it's, a very well-crafted game. For me personally, it's not until Uncharted hits that we have our first, must-have game. I liked Until Dawn. I know you really liked it.
Yep.
So that's why I'm giving it the leeway of last year. So it wasn't... It's like The Order 1886 was a disappointment. Like Little Big Planet 3 was a disappointment. Like, and they still have all this momentum.
Mm-hmm.
Why kill that? Like, why do anything to mess up the marketplace right now? Like, you're selling all these consoles and you don't even have like in terms of exclusive. I guess exclusives don't matter anymore for mass market audiences. Maybe they just don't care. Maybe they just want the box that can play the best version of Battlefront and NBA 2K and GTA, and maybe, I don't know. I'm just really confused about this. Like, why would you do anything to mess up the role that you're on right now, like this consumer friendly role? Like, I'm very curious to see how they spin this at E3. Like, oh, we have a new version and we're gonna give you the Neo versions of games. Like, but like, why?
Yeah.
Like, why? You like
it sounds essentially just maybe not do this. Wait 2 years and release the PlayStation 5.
Yeah, why not? Like, just wait a regular five-year console cycle, right? Like 2013
Now,
to 2008, unless that's not going to be the case moving forward.
Now, unless the other reason I can see them doing this, and maybe it would be smart, is to help out with like the VR games that might require more, like say Star Citizen, for example, or what's the not Star Citizen?
Eve Valkyrie.
Eve Valkyrie, yes, that's the one I was thinking of. That, might require a bit more oomph in order to run really well. Like, I can see it for that. If they market it more as like, this is VR, PlayStation VR, it's going to run fine on your normal PlayStation 4. It'll be good. But if you want this extra oomph for your VR experience for PlayStation 4, here's this elite system in order to help you with that.
Yeah. I just want to see how they spin it, to be honest. Like, it's just frustrating because I'm looking at this fall, right, and I'm seeing the PlayStation VR, right, which I have pre-ordered right now, the NX, which we don't know for sure, but it seems likely it's coming this fall.
Yeah.
All the big releases that usually come out in the fall, plus the PlayStation 4 Neo on top of all that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, as, a fan of all this stuff, like, I want to have it all, but it's kind of ridiculous. Like, there's so much stuff. Like, in my opinion, they haven't even gotten the potential out of the original PlayStation 4. That's I guess the point that I was trying to make when I was ranting. They still haven't gotten the full potential of the PlayStation 4, in my opinion. And now they're already coming out with the 4.5. Like, and I remember when we talked about this on the show, it was a while ago, but I was saying that it was just going to be a unit with a 4K Blu-ray player and like 4K streaming and all that. Yeah. But that doesn't seem the case. But what I found interesting is one of the notes and, all these leaked documents from like Eurogamer and Giant Bomb and all that. Games must run, they said, at 1080p 60 frames a second, right? I think that was like one of the things, or at least 1080p, something like that.
Yeah.
But isn't this supposed to be 4K, which is 2160p? So that doesn't even make sense. So what it sounds like is what I was talking about. Like, it's just a PS4, but you could play 4K Blu-rays, but it has a little more oomph to it, right? Like,
yeah,
because these games are not going to be in true 4K. Like, there's no way possible. Like, we've talked about this, like what type of computer you need to run games at 4K, like, and type of processing power and all that. Like, all this stuff, like, they're not going to run stuff at 4K. No. They could barely run stuff at 1080p right now. Developers, like, it just doesn't make any sense, even with all the boosts and stuff. Like, and 4K TVs have upscalers built in. Like, we talked about this, right? Like, they could. Like, I was just playing, like, a Ratchet and Clank demo before the game came out on a 4K TV at Best Buy the other day. And it looks fantastic. Like, and it's on a regular PS4. Like, I just don't see why. Maybe they want to get out there and be like...
My bet for this, like, despite all, like, their leaked documents and whatnot, and who knows, maybe some of the stuff people are saying is going to be true, but it might just be an upgraded system to help it with like you're not going to get as many like frame rate drops, for example, or not a lot of stuttering or freezing up on you as much, like just to help it performance on the games. Like we've seen that too, even with the PS3. Like as the systems went on, they made slight improvements to it, which helped out. This just seems like a big one all at once.
Yeah, it just, I don't know, it's just confusing. I could understand this is what it seems like for me personally. It seems like Sony, the corporation, is taking one of their most successful electronics items, the PlayStation 4, which is outpacing the PS2 still, which is nuts, right? And they're forcing this 4K technology into it because it helps them in the long run, right? Because they sell 4K cameras, they sell 4K TV sets, they're selling 4K Blu-rays, 4K Blu-ray players. Like, this helps them overall as a whole corporation. So I don't know if this is going to throw a wrench in like what PlayStation's been doing up to this point with all this goodwill and all the marketing and all that. Like, that's what I fear. And then they have the PlayStation VR coming out in the fall. So, and supposedly they're not saying like this is really doing anything to the PSVR. It's just doing it for like regular games, which would be like a missed opportunity, I guess, right?
Yeah.
It just seems like there's so many questions. It's like, why are you doing this? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how I feel about this. Like,
it's going to be an interesting E3 and second half of the year for sure.
It is going to be very interesting because, I don't know. Just putting it out there. Are you going to pick one up if this, comes out this year?
No.
Yeah. And with the Canadian dollar, it's probably going to be like $1,000.
Yeah. Plus our 15% tax here now in Newfoundland. Like, I'm going to have to be pretty wary about my money coming on now.
It's funny, too, because it seems this is coming out in October to coincide with the release of PlayStation VR, which we know for sure is coming out in October. So is that why PlayStation VR was delayed in the first place? Like, to October? Like, did they need this console? But still, they said the PlayStation VR could still run on the base unit. And that's what they've been showing people, like, how it runs on the base unit and all that. It's just so many questions. I hope they clear things up at E3 and really deliver. Like, it's a thing with other electronics, like phones, like iPhones and all that. Like, every year there's a new version and all that. Every year there's a new iPad and all this stuff and all these revisions or remodel. And people are used to that, but we're not used to that as console gamers. Yeah. Like, we're used to buying a box, sticking with that box throughout the console generation, unless it dies, unless they do a issue, like a slim version. Which, to be honest, now that I'm thinking about it, I've always bought like the revisions anyway. So what the hell am I complaining about? Because I got the PlayStation 3, the original. Then I got the Slim. I got the 360 original. Then I got the Slim. Like, at least they're giving me something additional, right? Okay, now I just had like an epiphany moment live on the podcast. Because when I think about it, like, the Vita, they gave me the Vita Slim. I bought the Vita Slim. Like, the 3DS, the DS original to the DS. Like, I'm going to buy this regardless. So, thank you, Sony. There goes my money in October. Like, but to be honest, at least, now that I think of it, right? Like, at least when we usually get revisions, it's usually because it's a quieter, smaller unit that doesn't use as much power, right?
Yeah.
This time we get a boost to, like frame rate and resolution. So, hey, what the hell? Ooh, hey, where you at? I'm throwing my money at you.
This might be my favorite podcast moment ever.
That was completely... It was an epiphany. I'm like, we buy these re-releases anyway, so why the hell not? Like, moving forward. It works. Sony's genius. They're giving us something. That's how they have to spin it at E3. They'll be like, you suckers buy the PS1, remember the little white one? Yeah, that's in my closet right now. You bought the PS2 Slim, you bought the PS3 Slim, all this stuff. So it makes sense. It just no more why. It just makes sense. Like they're just whatever. I'm gonna buy one. Let's move on.
Okay. Well, folks, that's going to do it for the topic of the week. Like to hear your thoughts about that in the comments. Did you have an epiphany like Izzy just did live on the podcast? Wow, that was amazing. You just convinced yourself about the PlayStation Neo.
Oh, man. I did it.
Clap for that one.
I did it, guys. I did it. I just convinced. Poor Nintendo. There goes my money for the NX. But.
Oh my! Like, anyways, that does it for the topic of the week.
Yeah.
In the questions and comments, we got some comments here from our good buddy Aaron B, who says very hyped for Axiom Verge on the Vita as well. Oh yeah, that came out this week. I need to download that onto my Vita. Still waiting for Darkest Dungeon to come to the Vita also. Yes, I am itching to play that game on the Vita too. I thought the Final Fantasy 15 demo was surprisingly gorgeous, but I hated how simple the combat system was. Hold circle to run to an enemy and constantly attack. Hold square to auto dodge everything. That doesn't apply to bosses, but it's just a boring combat system to me. Still better than Final Fantasy 13. I'm glad I'm not the only hater of Naughty Dog's trophies. It feels so terrible finishing a game, The Last of Us, and only having 4% trophies. Yeah, Naughty Dog is not the best for doing a trophy list. You're either getting stuff on, like, Uncharted, where it's like, kill so many people with this gun, kill so many people with that gun, get so many headshots, roll on the ground 5 times and kill an enemy 5 times in a row, that kind of stuff. And with The Last of Us, you got the opposite of that, where it's like, yeah, you got to go out of your way to do these trophies. There might be some that you will naturally get, but we're not going to babysit you and give you a trophy for every chapter finished, which, in a way, I kind of appreciate that. As a trophy horror, not so much, because I'd like to get a trophy every time I finish a checkpoint. Give me something every time I finish a checkpoint, Naughty Dog. But yeah, they're not really the best at doing a trophy list, let's be honest.
It's just crazy because they make great games, but I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that does it for questions and comments. Thanks, Aaron, once again. And that's going to do it for this episode. Cutting this in at just about an hour, I do believe, this time.
Mm-hmm.
So, Izzy, why don't you take us away? Also, folks, tomorrow, Severed comes out on the Vita. If you own a Vita, go buy Severed. Speak with your wallet. Support the Vita! Okay, Izzy, you can wrap up the show now.
Okay, thanks, guys, for checking out this week's Glitched Out Gaming Podcast, episode 36. Let us know in the comment section down below, what have you been playing this week? Any of your thoughts on any of the news stories we talked about, Red Dead Redemption or 2/Red Dead 3. I got kind of lost there for a second. The Pokemon live action movie, the Arkham games coming to the PS4 and Xbox One, Persona 5 release date announcement imminent, the PlayStation Neo. Did you just convince yourself like I did? That'd be like one of the best moments of the podcast ever. And let us know, give us some more comments and feedback. Thanks to Aaron B as always, leaving us comments and feedback. For Lord X, I'm Izzy, aka Israel Pacheco 89, and we are glitching out.
I'm not a bad system. I'm not a good system. I'm a PlayStation Neo.
Did it.